So this is going to be number 5 on my list for the best weapons inside of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War to use when you are playing the Outbreak Easter Egg and how to beat it. So number 5 on my list is going to be the AMP-63 pistol that just came out inside of Black Ops Cold War. And you're going to want to stick around for the rest of this list because I can tell you the M16 is actually not number 1. And number 1 will probably surprise you. The AMP-63 pistol absolutely tears through zombies, and pistol headshot multipliers are amazing. Now, full disclosure, when I was doing this, I did not have it leveled all the way up, so I did not have the ability to use the dual wield. However, of course, if you could use the dual wield, I would. Honestly, the pure damage output from the AMP-63 pistols are insane. You can see per shot from this range, I'm doing like almost 1,000 damage to the Legion inside of the Outbreak Easter Egg, and it's a pistol. I mean, this thing's absolutely nuts. Now, this is all the way upgraded. However, this is not using the Task Force barrel. This is not using anything like that. So let's go over really quick the attachments that I would use for the AMP-63 pistol. So for the AMP-63 pistol, I just use a quick dot LED as my optic. This really doesn't matter too much, and it's not going to matter at all if you're using the dual wield. So, I mean, that's not that important. For the muzzle, I like the Flash Guard 9 because of the increased equipment drop rate, and it really doesn't have any cons to it. As for the barrel, I would go with the Task Force if I had it unlocked. That's what you should use as well, if you have it unlocked. Now for the body, I would go with the SWAT 5 milliwatt laser sight, and that is because it increases your hip fire accuracy and decreases your ADS time, but if you're using dual wield, you don't need ADS time. Now you're not really going to need a handle because all the handles basically help with your ADS, so I would honestly go with a bigger magazine here because this doesn't have the most ammo in the world. Honestly, dealer's choice here, there's pros and cons to each. I went with the 20 round speed mag, but I mean, you know, do whatever you feel is going to be best for you. The other nice part about the AMP-63 pistol is that you are super fast when running around with it because, well, I mean, honestly, it's a pistol.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
And I was able to defeat Legion relatively quickly with this gun. Now, moving on to number 4, and this one I'm honestly gonna kind of catch a little bit of flack from, and honestly I might catch a little bit of flack from this entire list. However, at number 4, I'm gonna have the E-Tool. That's right, that little shovel that we have all come to know and love, that thing is actually insane in the Outbreak Easter Egg. Now, it's not going to help you all that much specifically with Legion. However, when you are doing the Outbreak boss fight, it's going to be able to one-shot pretty much all the zombies around you, which is huge if you're trying to reload your Frenzied Guard. The E-Tool is easily the fastest that you can possibly run in the game other than with your fists. The E-Tool is going to be basically the best bet to get away from zombies and hoard them up. And then the other nice part is even if you don't have the E-Tool out and you have it as your secondary, whatever your main weapon is, if you use the melee button, you're going to whip out the E-Tool, which is more than likely going to one-shot whatever zombie you're hitting. Now, you'll see in my game that even when I run up to Manglers, if I hit them in the arm, it's a one-shot kill to them during this Easter egg. This is also super helpful if you go down and you happen to have Quick Revive, because the E-Tool, if you have Quick Revive all the way loaded up, the E-Tool is going to make it so you can just knife a zombie really quick and get right back up. The last amazing part about the E-Tool is that if you do have melee leveled all the way up to tier 5, then you'll be able to gain health every single time that you melee. So it's basically gonna, even if you're getting hit, it's still gonna help you gain some health, which honestly, during this run that you're seeing here, saved me quite a few times. And now, listen, you guys are going to scream at me in the comments, and I am all for it. Lay it on me. Coming in as the third best weapon for the Outbreak Easter egg, in my opinion, is the M16.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
I know what you guys are thinking. The M16 is probably the most overpowered gun in the game at the moment. The fact that I don't have this as number 1, let alone number 2, is absolutely insane. I kind of agree. And honestly, this can kind of end up being personal preference. As you know, the M16 absolutely shreds through zombies, especially when it's all the way packed and you have the Task Force barrel on. The M16 is up there with the best guns that Call of Duty has ever seen. Do I fully expect the M16 to be getting a nerf in the upcoming patches? 100%, I do. But for now, let's go over my attachments that I have for the M16. So again, for the optic, this is really just going to be dealer's choice. I personally like reflex sights, so I went with the Millstop reflex. The muzzle, I am using the SOCOM Eliminator, and I'm basically doing that for the increased equipment drop, and there has some vertical recoil control. You don't have to necessarily have that. You could just go with the Flash Guard 5.56 just for the equipment rate drop, because the SOCOM does kind of slow down your shooting movement speed and your horizontal recoil. But with that being said, I kind of ADS a lot, so the vertical recoil control definitely helped me out. For the barrel, not even a question, you're going to want to go with the Task Force. The body, I went with the Ember Sighting Point. That is increased salvage drop rate and hip fire accuracy. If you do want to hip fire at the Legion, it does kind of work out a little bit better that way because then you're not slowing down. The underbarrel, I have the Bruiser Grip. I mean, that one's pretty self-explanatory. It is all pros. The magazine, I went with the Jungle Style mag for reload quickness. I mean, again, kind of dealer's choice. A lot of people like the Salvo 54 round fast mag. Again, whatever floats your boat. The handle, I went with the Airborne Elastic Wrap, and that is the ADS time is faster. The flinch resistance, and aim while going prone, who really cares? But I really like faster ADS time, which is going to help you out a ton if you're trying to find that perfect point on the Legion. And then finally for the stock, I went with the SAS Combat stock. That's 10% up to shooting movement speed and 78% to aim walking movement speed, which means when you do aim in, it's really not going to slow you down all that much. So now here we are. You're like, what in the world is better than the M16 inside of Black Ops Cold War Zombies for the Outbreak Easter egg? And you're going to think I'm insane, but on number 2 on my list, I'm going with the Gallow shotgun. The Howler and the Gallow have fought all season long for which shotgun is going to be better, and right now I'm going with the Gallow. And the only reason I picked that is because I think the Gallow is a better secondary weapon to what weapon number 1 is going to be, so stick around. The Gallow does an insane amount of damage, and it also has a really fast fire rate. Honestly, my favorite thing about the Gallow right now is how quickly it can take out mimics, especially when you're doing the part inside of the silos where all those mimics spawn. The Gallow can take those things out in a heartbeat. So for the Gallow, I actually don't have an optic on it. For the muzzle, I went with the Flash Cone 12 gauge. It's the increased equipment drop rate. The barrel, I went with the Task Force, of course. I mean, the Task Force is so good. The Task Force for me says 89% damage increase and 13% effective damage range. The body, I have the steady aim laser. The magazine, I have the 9-round tube. And then the stock, I have no stock, so I can sprint to fire faster. Now, obviously, using this on the Legion itself isn't going to be the best, especially as you're trying to hit the crystals above the Legion's head. But I think that the Gallow is really, really good for damage on all the zombies that are around you while you're trying to rebuild, like, say for example your frenzied guard. So if you're trying to kill zombies quickly and they're all up in your face, I mean the Gallow is going to be perfect for this because it's just fast fire rate, huge damage, big damage as my friend Lanjo would say, and it's going to get you there really, really quick. And now for the moment you have all been waiting for, what dethroned the M16 inside of Outbreak for me as the number 1 Outbreak weapon in the game? I went with the Carve 2. Very, very similar to the M16, however, it just felt like it was doing more damage, and I think the control on that weapon is so much better, especially ADS. It doesn't feel like the Carve moves when I was doing the Outbreak Easter egg. The very first time I did this Easter egg, I did it with the M16, but then I went back and did it with the Carve, and oh my god, it just feels so much better. And unlike the AUG, the Carve also becomes a 6-round burst when upgraded, so it's just like the M16. Now I want you to know that the gameplay that you're seeing right now with the Carve on your screen, I did not have the Task Force. I did not have this baby leveled all the way up. So this isn't even the best version of the Carve that you can get. And look at the damage that this thing is putting out, and look how fast I am taking down the Legion. The damage that came from this thing absolutely blew my mind. So let's take a look at what I have on this weapon. For the optic, I have the Cobra red dot sight. The muzzle, I have the Flash Guard .45 APC, just for increased equipment drop rate. Barrel, I now have the Task Force, but when I was playing this, I want to say I had the Strike Team or the Cavalry Lancer. For the body, I went with the Ember Sighting Point, again, increased salvage drop rate and better hipfire accuracy for the same reasons with the M16. Underbarrel, again, the Bruiser Grip, I just think that's the best grip in the game, no question. Magazine, I went with the biggest one you could find, and honestly, that is kind of what pushed this gun over the top for me compared to the M16. The clip on this thing is just flat out bigger, and the clip on this thing is a monster. So having to reload less when you need crucial seconds to destroy one of those crystals is phenomenal. The handle, I would just went with the speed tape, just ADS time. I mean, again, dealer's choice here. There's not a whole lot that's really all that interesting. And in the stock, I went the tactical stop. The aim walking movement speed I think is huge when you're trying to run away from the zombies as well as fight off the Legion. Again, that's just what I used when I was doing this. I will probably use the Raider pad when I finally get it unlocked. Now I know this list isn't perfect, so go ahead and leave in the comments below how you feel about it and what you would change. Also, go ahead and check if you are subscribed, because apparently people have been getting unsubscribed to the channel. I don't know why, but that's a thing I heard. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Go beat that Easter egg, and I'll see you soon.